Tapu, this is Nia Yah with Raseki Arts Temple of Healing. The conversation today is working with the ancestors. And this is something that is a part of us as African people, is a part of our culture and our tradition to honor, recognize, and work with our ancestors, those who are in our bloodline that came before us. And even sometimes we work with those ancestors who are not in our bloodline, but they live their lives in such a way that they become elevated ancestors. And so we look to them, we work with them, we honor them as well. And all spiritual systems do honor and recognize ancestors, even if they say they don't. You think about Jesus, he was an ancestor. The Buddha was an ancestor. Noble Drew Ali, an ancestor. Selassie, an ancestor. Prophet Muhammad, an ancestor. So all of these spiritual systems do in fact show us that it is a part of our culture to work with the ancestors. And it's all right, it's good, and we give thanks. Working with the ancestors, I would say for you to start your process in working with them, you would want to go and speak with some of the older people in your family line and ask questions about their grandmothers, their mothers, their aunties. Ask them to share with you the stories about the people who came before them that they remember. Ask them to share with you the things that they did, their names, and all of these. As much information that you can get is helpful, because you will find that the ancestors help. Knowing about our ancestors, knowing about our family, helps us to in fact know more about ourselves. So we'll see that those of us who are very spiritual come from families who have always been very spiritual. Those of us who come from families who are very intellectual come from families who are intellectual. Those of us who come from families who work with their hands, do certain iron work or other things like that, come from families who've done that for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's very good to know, and this is a part of the reason why we want to know about our ancestors, because it helps us to be more sure about who we are and our role and our purpose of being here on this realm at this time. Also, just communicating with the ancestors. They're already walking amongst us. They're already walking with us. Most of us have at least one ancestor from our bloodline who is sometimes called a spiritual guide or a guardian angel, and this person or this energy is actually directed to be with us, to help guide us through our lives, to help us to make good decisions, to help us to see the right path for ourselves, to help us to see the things that are not good for ourselves. And they speak to us, and we'll hear this subtle voice saying, go this way, or do this thing, or do that thing. And this is part of our intuition, part of our own self, which is a part and also connected to our ancestors, because of course their blood runs through us, so it's a part of us. So we all are connected, and so working with them, communicating them, and recognizing, being aware and conscious of who our spirit guides are, who our helpful ancestors are, only strengthens our bond and only can be more helpful to us and can assist us in our process, as well as assisting those who come after us, our children and their children and their children, and so on and so forth. So once you get a good knowledge of who your ancestors are, you can there's several different things that you could do to strengthen that connection with them. One thing you may want to do is to visit the family cemetery and just take some offerings, some flowers, take some flowers, take some cigars, some food, pour water there at the cemetery, and just offer some beautiful words of love and thanks and appreciation to those who are in your bloodline. Also, I have to mention that when you're gathering the information about your ancestors, if you find that there are some who did not live in a righteous way, you don't want to call on those ones. They can be very harmful to your family if they in fact were harmful to others as they walked on the earth. So when you are making, you want to make a list of those who are in your lineage that you do want to honor, and make sure that everyone that you put on that list are ones who lived in a godly way or lived in alignment with Ma'at and were not hurtful or harmful to themselves or anyone in the way that they lived. So you want to go ahead and make that list and start with the oldest ancestor that you can find, either through the stories or going to the cemetery. Usually you can find this out. And then you can begin to invoke their presence by pouring water for them. We call it pouring a libation. And you just say their names, pour a little bit of water on the earth or into a plant or right directly on the floor, or you can just sprinkle a few drops of water. And in doing this, the water actually acts as a conduit. So it helps to connect that energy with you and that spiritual realm, with you and the ancestral realm, so that you can communicate with them more clearly. Going to the cemetery, as I said, is another good way. Pouring the libations is very good, and also building an ancestral altar. And that's something that's like a high level thing. If you feel moved to do that, it's beautiful to have. In an altar space, all you really need is to have things that represent fire, air, water, and spirit. So you want to have a container to hold water, and hopefully it would be natural. When we build altar spaces, we don't want to put things that are unnatural on the altar space. You want to also have a candle when you go there. Lighting that fire, once again, adds that extra energy. Having something to represent the earth, so a plant or a crystal or even a glass of dirt can help to represent the earth. And then, of course, when you go to your ancestral altar, you want to have some incense. The higher spirits, they like sweet smells. So when you go and make your prayers there, you want to have something sweet smelling. Frankincense and myrrh is an excellent incense to use in working with the ancestors. It's known to attract, especially myrrh is known to attract the ancestors. So you can light that incense, go there, pour a libation, say some prayers, and then you want to take some time and listen and let them communicate with you. And just your time and your energy is more valuable than any other gift that you can give them. Recognizing them and giving them that time is nothing better. It's nothing that they like more. And they will begin to show you and guide you and teach you and share with you so many more, much more things. So much. They will share with you many things. Many times we already hear things that we should be focused on, but once you make that connection with your ancestors, you'll be more clear about what you're hearing. You'll be more clear about the things that you need to do. Your guidance will be much more clear, and you can they will help you to avoid some stuff that's not good for you. And of course, we all need that. So these are just a few tips to help you get started. And we do have some further, if you have further questions, of course we have some higher studies in working with the ancestors, and you are more than welcome to contact me at www.raseki.webs.com. I'd be more than happy to speak with you personally to help you get on your path in communicating with your ancestors and moving forward on your spiritual journey. All right, much love, peace, and blessings. Until the next time.